Hey, what's going on, guys? Darby here, Gen AI University, joined today by the founder of Howdy.com, Jacqueline Samira, who is going to share a bit about the vision behind Howdy and training an AI-enabled global workforce. Howdy is one of the platinum sponsors of the Scale with AI Summit, and truly one of our partners in making this event possible to make it free for you to attend and learn how you can grow your business with AI. And so Jacqueline's going to share just a little bit about her vision and what got her to start Howdy in the first place. Jacqueline, so glad to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Darby. Super excited to be here. Thanks for having me. And thanks for allowing us to sponsor. Very excited.
Absolutely. We've been working with Howdy. For context for everyone, I've hired through Howdy our full-time team member, Franco, who works hand in hand with building out the Marketos app, which you guys are going to see in action at the summit. Is a hire through Howdy and instrumental in the growth of our community over the course of this year. And when I reached out to Jacqueline and her team about the possibility to partner on the summit, I just saw so much alignment, especially with the vision of where you guys are heading. So I'd love if you could just share a little bit about kind of your background, what got you into Howdy and starting it in the first place. But now that you've seen the shift in AI, where is that affecting how you guys are operating now? And like, where do you see things going here in the future?
Absolutely. So I started Howdy in 2018. I'm based in Austin, Texas. And one of the things I started to notice was more and more companies, more and more capital was coming to the city. But it wasn't like, especially in 2018, we were getting a bigger and bigger crop of experienced technical talent. So what ended up happening is all of the companies started to compete for the same talent pool, but the companies got bigger, but the talent pool didn't. And if you weren't a FANG company, and if you weren't offering $500,000 compensation packages, it was really hard to hire senior technical talent. And so what I decided to do is I thought this was stupid. There are smart people all over the world who would just be ecstatic for this opportunity. Why doesn't it happen? Why can't we hire people outside of the walls of our city? And it's because logistically it can be really hard and it can be very scary and there could be all of these different issues. And so I wanted to make it really easy for companies who were hiring to be able to hire people outside of their city. And that's what started with Howdy. And as things have evolved and as AI has come onto the scene, our business has grown so much, which has been great, but we're starting to see a lot of new trends in product and software development and global workforces. And so super excited to share a little bit about what we're observing and what we're doing.
It's awesome that you've seen the growth firsthand, but then the need for expanding and tapping into this global workforce. And I think that other people are starting to pick up on this. You guys are obviously leading the charge in a lot of ways. What are some signals that you're seeing right now that is why companies should be focusing on how hiring talent outside of maybe just the US, and like why would they work with somebody like Howdy or somebody that's like outside of the norm? Like, because there's a lot of stipulation. Maybe they're not as talented. Maybe if their English isn't their first language, they may not understand my company's culture. Is there anything that you can share about like the landscape as to where you guys are operating in right now, but also how you plan to address these as you're growing and scaling up and enabling this workforce with AI training and skills?
Yeah, so I would say that historically, when people are looking for jobs, usually they put a job rec, whether it's in their location that they're in, or maybe it's in the greater area that they're in. And a lot of times they go through all the applications and they realize there's no one here that's exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm going to settle for this, or I'm going to settle for that, or I'm going to change this role to be like this, and then I'm going to move this other person over here. And so there's a lot of compromising that happens. When you open up the applications to a global workforce, you literally can find the exact person that you're looking for. And for us, usually for our internal team, when we have an open job rec for ourselves, we wanted to, the expression dog food your own product, we wanted to dog food our own product. So every time we had a role open, even when we thought, no, this has to be a role in Austin, based in office with us, we're like, you know what, let's try and see what we can get. And no joke, if you look at the team now, we have over 85 people, 95% of them are based in South America. And I don't know if it's just because it's a greater pool that we're able to source from, or if the cultural alignment for what we're looking for is greater, but it just gives me, as someone who is the founder that's conscientious about how much money I'm spending, the ability to not have to settle for the type of person I'm looking for. And I love that I'm able to extend that to other folks as well.
The perspective of never wanting to settle, I think, is going to resonate, not just with myself, but other entrepreneurs, founders, people that are pushing the limits in their industry and always innovating and creating. You don't want to settle. And there could almost, it's hard to find something that's going to cost you more in terms of time, energy, and resources than like hiring wrong. That could hurt a lot of things inside of your business by just simply finding the wrong hire. And if you settle, you're probably setting yourself up for more opportunities to not quite hit the bullseye. And I will tell you, I was shocked by how qualified the first employee we hired through you guys, and in the first 48 hours, right? Like it was so quick. You guys obviously have a great system in place for this. But what I've been most impressed with is what we were talking about just before hitting record on this interview was how the role of people that are AI enabled is changing.
Yes.
And I want to share a little bit, if you're okay with how you're seeing it in terms of you're not just hiring a person to manage them on the day to day, but everyone is effectively being able to tap into those roles of being their own CEO of their own role, their own CTO. Can you talk a little bit more about your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so we actually, my company, my whole leadership team, we got together this past week because we're setting our strategic initiatives for 2025. One of our strategic initiatives is to make our entire workforce AI enabled. And the reason why we're doing this is because when you really zoom out and you think about what's going on in this world of AI, there are two types of people. There are the people who are most likely a part of this summit that are very excited and inspired and thrilled about all the good that's going to come from AI and all the stuff they can create from AI. And then on the other side, there are the people that are scared of it. They're scared that it's going to take our jobs. They're scared that it's going to take our companies, that they're going to take over. And then, of course, there, I'm sure, are people that just vacillate between both sides, depending on the day. But the feeling when it comes to AI is extreme, no matter where you stand. And in my internal team as well, people felt like it was outside of their control. It felt very just an unknown element. And so based on that, we did a deep dive into the subject of it to think, really, what is this going to mean for our future? And I'm here to say there's nothing new. If you look back, the history of humanity, anytime there's been a major invention, everyone had fear, and then it turned out being better for humanity. If you think of the invention of the printing press, it didn't kill an industry. In fact, it created $1 trillion one. And today, literally anyone can be a book publisher, anyone can be an author, which is incredible. ATMs, when they came on the scene 60 years ago, everybody freaked out and predicted that bank teller jobs would be obsolete. But in fact, those folks got to be a little bit more strategic, and there are more branches now than ever before. Same thing with the invention of computers. In the 60s, people thought that these devices would replace all data entry and administrative positions, which we just know is not the case. And my favorite example that I always tell is when Microsoft Excel was invented. It was just a known thing. Oh, like all accountants, all bookkeepers, they're going to be eliminated. But in fact, this year, there is a massive accounting shortage. And so what I shared with my team and what we're going to be doing is AI is not going to eliminate software development. It's not going to eliminate jobs. Sure, it can take over doing a lot of the coding, but it just means it's going to be different. More AI will mean that there's more software produced, which means that there's going to be more output by humans and thus more jobs, because as humans, we can't help ourselves. We're creators, we're innovators, we're dreamers. We will never stop building, we'll never stop creating. And the future is so exciting when you think about it like this, because if you think about a company like Amazon, they say that's a company of 100 CEOs. Now, if you lean into this idea of educating yourself on all of the AI tools, what that's going to be able to do is allow you to be a mini CEO or a mini CTO, or hire people that are mini CEOs or mini CTOs. So we are going to be leaning in to this educational element, and we're building this huge database of tools and what it can help with, and everything that people can use to be able to be the little CEOs or CTOs of their own job. And that's one of the things I'm really excited to share about with the summit, for how we're training our team to think like that, how we're training them on the tools, what kind of tools, and where you guys can go and get that information so you can do that for yourselves as well.
That's great. And it's so important in getting into AI with how much noise there is out there. It seems like the only constant with anything right now is that things are just going to keep changing and it's going to
Yeah.
get faster. And a lot of what we hear is how overwhelming it can be. So having just a place that you can go for these type of resources is obviously important, but also being able to adapt with these resources and change how your own organization is evolving, whether you're your own CEO and you've got a very small team or it's just you, like how are you adapting with these tools? And I think, like you said at the beginning, of the two sides, some people are for it 100%, some people are against it 100%, and then a lot of people are in the middle in some way, shape, or form. And I think right now we're in a really interesting moment where those that are taking advantage of these tools and really leaning in to upskilling and putting them in a position where they can get better with them, we're going to see so much more opportunity, so much more things that being created. And a mentor once said to me, for every one problem you solve, you just created 10 more. Every solution comes with 10 problems. And then every time you solve one of those, you got 10 more problems. And maybe we can solve these solutions faster with AI, but there's always going to be new things that we as humans are going to want to be innovating on. And that's where I think there's a great intersection there, which is really why we put the summit together. And the theme of the summit is where AI innovation meets implementation.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to not just your keynote, but of course all the other presenters during the summit. And really, where does the rubber meet the road with this today? And how can you, as a founder, as a small business owner, as a CEO, how can you look at the tools from this perspective to level up your entire organization? And maybe, just maybe, there is an entire global workforce out there that is doing this right now that can help you with scaling your business faster without sacrificing on talent and without settling for anything. And so for those that are going to be joining us at the summit, Jacqueline, is there kind of one takeaway that you're excited to deliver for those that are going to be at this event?
Absolutely. Let me preface my takeaway by just saying this. We surveyed thousands and thousands of engineers and product managers and CEOs. And even with people that are building product, only 60% of them have even started thinking about implementing or using AI. So the fact that you're even a part of the summit or joining the summit, you're already ahead of 40% of the general population when you think about using AI, because it can be very overwhelming. The main takeaways that you're going to have from coming to my keynote is really relieving that stress and that anxiety of, I need to know everything, and give you clear, actionable tools for how you can feel good about how you too can be AI enabled in your day-to-day life.
Love it. And for those of you that want to join this event and get access to the additional replays that we're going to be producing and delivering after all of the live sessions are done, all the resources and the bonus material that's going to include with the event, just head over to scalewithaisummit.com. That link should be somewhere around this video, but that's scalewithaisummit.com. Go ahead and register, join the community, and get it on the action and get ahead of the game. Jacqueline, I'm looking forward to your session at the summit, and we'll see everyone on the other side.